Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Belmont Park here on Saturday. It's the 4th of July, 2020. Gonna look at the stakes races on the program from Belmont, but before I get onto that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and also join me today for my Derby preview from Epsom, and also join me next Wednesday through Sunday for my Keeneland Summer Meeting previews. I'm quite interested in those Keeneland races, so join me for that. But it's a great card today from Belmont. You have the Manhattan, you have the Suburban, you have the Metropolitan Handicap, the Met Mile, the Poker. You know, it's some great racing. So let's get to it right now. We'll be looking at races 3, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So races 3, and then basically the late pick 4, races 8 through 11. The third race from Belmont, it is the Victory Ride Stakes, Grade 3, purse $100,000. Race for 3-year-old fillies here. We have a field of 5 horses entered to go to the main track, the distance of ground of 1,300 meters, with the distance of ground of 6.5 furlongs on the Belmont Big Sandy main track, 1,300 meters, 6.5 furlongs, and I show the diagram. Just gives me a second to look down my notes, just bear with me. Top selection, I'm going to take the one-horse Frank's Rockets. We'll go 1-4-3-2 in the superfecta, 1-4-3-2 super. Top selection of one-horse Frank's Rockets. The three-year-old filly by inch into the mischief. Belmont train. John Velasquez gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 25th of May at Churchill, 6 furlongs and optional 100 claimer, and the horse won by 3.5 lengths there and basically sat on the front end all throughout, quickened up easily, 40 cents to the dollar. That's how you want your 40 cents to the dollar favorite winning, and you know, so easy. 2 back in the Purple Martin at Oakland, 6 furlongs on the stop, the 4th of April. The horse finished second by 1 3/4 lengths behind Kamari. Was with him early on, but then just couldn't catch Kamari, who just ran that better race. But it wasn't the world's worst. And then before that, in the Any Limit at Gulfstream, 6 furlongs, February 22nd, she won by 7 that day. And at even money, she should have been sent off even lower, I think, because she was just much the best that day on paper and basically in performance also. Very easy race there. And then before that, back here at Belmont, 1 mile in the Frizette. The mile trip might have been just a little bit too long for her. She finished second by 2 3/4 lengths there. She's very wide, and she could just never quicken up to her full potential. But I like her a lot back to the 6.5. Has been training very well. 3 to 5, let's take her. A single in your early multi-race wagers. But to recap my selection for the third from Belmont's the Grade 3 Victory Ride, let's take the one-horse Frank's Rockets. We'll go 1-4-3-2 in the superfecta, single the 1 in the multi-race. Now the 7th race, there's going to be the 8th race from Belmont. It is the Poker Stakes, Grade 3, purse $150,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 9 horses entered, the 8 horses MTO, so 8 will head to the Widener Turf Course. The distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or 1 mile on the Widener Turf Course. 1,600 meters, 1 mile, rails at 9 feet this afternoon. So keep that in mind. Top selection, we're going to go with the number 9 horse here. Value proposition, we'll go 9-2-1-7 in the superfecta, 9-2-1-7 super. Top selection, 9 horse value proposition. This 4-year-old Ridgeling by Dancel, Chad Brown trains. Ira Ortiz Jr. gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 3rd of June at Belmont, 1 mile here on the Widener and off 62, and the horse went by length there. Sat back early, very wide that day, but he got the job done, probably not even being 100% fresh. Coming here second off the break, a lot fresher. A little give in the ground, which I think he should do a little better with. I think he could really run a good race. 2 back in optional 80 at Saratoga, mile 16th on the Mill in July of 2019. He won by a nose that day, and he had a stupid wide poster out, was wide throughout. He got there in the nick of time, but it was good after all said and done where he came from. Definitely an improvement compared to the race before where he ran crap at Belmont here, a mile late on the inner turf course in the Grade 3 Pine Ridge, finishing 7th by 8.5 lengths. He just really didn't have a good run there, and just never quickened up off the front end. But before that, he broke the main here at Belmont, going mile 16th on the inner turf course in April 2019, won by 4 1/4 lengths, closing up from nowhere. A little green that day, but he still got the job done. He's been training well. Second off the break, he should be even fresher. 5-2, let's take him. A multi-race scenario, your second likest winner is the other Chad Brown, the 2-horse Valid Point. He hasn't been seen since the Shadwell Turf Mile, where he just couldn't keep up with the better horses. But if he runs that Secretariat race, I think he will win here. At 7-2, we'll use him. So to recap my selection for the 8th from Belmont, Belmont. It is the Grade 3 Poker. Let's take as a top selection the 9-horse value proposition. We'll also give kudos to the 2-horse valid point. We'll go 9-2-1-7 in the superfecta, 9-2 in the multi-race. So now let's get to the 9th race from Belmont, which is the featured Metropolitan Handicap Grade 1 purse, $500,000 races for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 8 horses heading to the main track. The distance of ground is 1,600 meters, with the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Big Sandy main track. 1,600 meters, 1 mile here in the Met Mile. The top selection, we're going to go with the number 5 horse here, who is Code of Honor. We'll go 5-8-3-2 in the superfecta, 5-8-3-2 super. Top selection 5 horse, Code of Honor. This 4-year-old colt by Noble Mission. Shug McGahee trains this one. John Velasquez gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came in the Westchester. Look, prep race for this race, but usually run at a mile in late April. But this year run at a mile 16th in early June. But mile 16th in Westchester at Belmont, mile 16th on the mud. He won by a half length, and he probably wasn't 100% fresh that day, but he sat back early, a little wide, but he just quickened up easy. It was the kind of good comeback race you want to see. 2 back, though, he ran a horrible race at San Antonio, mile and a quarter in the Brews Cup Classic, where he finished 7 by 15 and a half lengths, and he just had nothing, never could quicken up. Wasn't the day to win. And then before then, the Jack Club Gold Cup at Belmont, a mile and a quarter here. He finished second by a nose, but because Vino Rosa was, drifting on him late, they put him up through disqualification, but both horses ran well. Vino Rosa went on to win the Brews Cup Classic, by the way, so it was a good race there. And then before that, his coming out race in the Travers at Saratoga, mile and a quarter, he won by 3, circling the field in the stretch, very wide, but that was a very good run. And then before that, he won over the trip here in the Dwyer last season, won by 3 1/4 lengths, and it didn't matter that John Velasquez lost a whip because he still ran a terrific race. He's going to be coming from a little bit behind here. I think you'll see a good pace in this one, and I think he can run a good race. 3-1, let's use him. Also, has been training very well. If there's a horse that can run a good race on the front end and maybe go wire to wire, I think the 8-horse Warriors Charge is a horse you want to definitely keep an eye on. He ran a terrific race, I thought, in the Oaklawn Handicap, and then before that, he won the Razorback. His running style looks like he could be a very good one-turn mile kind of horse. He's getting it for the first time, and at 12-1, I'll use him. Mackenzie's also your wise guy horse. Mile and a quarter is just too long. Mile and eighth around 2 turns. He runs okay, but I think the mile race around a 1 turn is really in his ballpark, and cutting back here again at 2-1. He placed in this race last year. I'm going to give him a massive shot also. We're not using Vacoma. I think he could be very vulnerable here today, but you might disagree with me, but I don't care. But we'll get to recap my selections now for the 9th race from Belmont. It is the Grade 1 Metropolitan Handicap. We'll use as a top selection the 5-horse Code of Honor. We'll also give kudos to the 8-horse Warriors Charge, and the 3-horse Mackenzie. We'll go 5-8-3-2 in the superfecta, 5-8-3 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 10th race now from Belmont, which is the Grade 1 Manhattan. It's going for a purse $400,000 race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 8 horses heading to the inner turf course. The distance of ground of 2,000 meters, or the distance of ground of a mile and a quarter on the Belmont inner turf course. 2,000 meters, a mile and a quarter inner turf course. Top selection in a single in the multi-race. I'm going to go with the 3-horse Cross Border. We'll go 3-7-2-4 in the superfecta, and we'll go single of 3 in the multi-race. So that is 3-7-2-4 super. Single 3 in the multi-race, Cross Border. 6-year-old Ridgeling by English Channel. Mike Maker trains. Jose Ortiz gets the mount. Most recently, the horse ran the 3rd of June at Belmont, a 1 mile and off 6-2 claimer, and the horse finished second by a length. He basically stalked all the way around the race course, never quickened up, but first off the break, you expect that. Coming here second off the break, mile and a quarter, his preferred trip, basically the main speed in this race. I think he really run a good race. It wouldn't surprise me if they just walk the dog on the front end in this race, like they were doing last week here at Belmont. 2 back in the McKnight Handicap at Gulfstream, mile and a half, January 25th. He finished second by a neck, and again, he was set on the front end. He quickened up a little bit that day, and he got caught by Spooky Channel late, but he ran a terrific race there. And then before then, the Fort Lauderdale at Gulfstream, mile and 8, December the 14th. He finished 6 by 2.5 lengths, and he set the pace early on. He hit the wall late. What can you do? He just couldn't keep the trip. And then before that, at Belmont, at Aqueduct, mile 3 in an allowance race, 92,000. He won by a neck, stalked, he got the lead, and then it ran easily. They ran him in the Turf Classic last year where he just couldn't keep up. But like I said, he's coming here basically the main speed from the rail. If he walks the dog on the front end, I think he could go a long way. 10-1. Let's take him and single him. So to recap my selection for the 10th from Belmont, it's the Grade 1 Manhattan. Let's take 3-horse Cross Border. We'll go 3-7-2-4 in the superfecta, single of 3 in the multi-race. The nightcap, the 11th race from Belmont, a race very rich in history. It is, and it's very rich in history. Run usually on July 4th. It was always the July 4th feature up until about I want to say the early 2000s, but I could be a little off on that. But the 11th race, it is the Suburban Handicap of the Suburban Stakes, Grade 2, purse $200,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. 8 horses are going to the main track. The distance of ground of 2,000 meters, or the distance of ground of a mile and a quarter on the Belmont main track. 2,000 meters, a mile and a quarter main track, and the Suburban. And you need to be drawn well going about a quarter on the dirt here at Belmont, that's for sure. And a horse I think is drawn very well here is the 4-horse, my top selection, Mr. Buff. We'll go 4168 in the superfecta. 4168 super, top selection of 4-horse, Mr. Buff. 6-year-old gelding by friend or foe. John Kimmel trains. Junior Alvarado gets the mount. Most recently, the horse ran in the commentator at Belmont 1 mile June the 12th. He finished second by 1/4 lengths there, and he didn't break that well. Kind of got rushed a little bit that day. Couldn't quicken up late. First off the break, he needed the race. Second off, a mile and a quarter, longer trip. Sitting on the front end, which I think will be really good. Drawn very well. I'm going to give him a shot. 2 back in the Haynesfield at Aqueduct, 1 mile February 22nd. Facing basically garbage horses, not to knock him. He basically won on the front end easily, winning by 20 lengths. He just kept going. Very easy run. And then before that, a mile and 1/8 at Aqueduct, then to Jazzle, he won by 5. And again, basically on the front end all throughout, he just kept going. And before that, on New Year's in the Alex M. Robb, winning by 7.5 against Statebreds. Definitely improvement off his race before, which came in the Clark Handicap, where he ran a disappointing 10th, where he just really hit the wall that day. They ran quite fast, and he just couldn't keep up with them. But coming back to Belmont, we're on the Naira circuit. It's not his favorite track, but going a mile and a quarter here today, like I said, it's speed favoring at times. I think he can really run a good race. 2-1 will use him along with the number 1 horse Taxidus. I think he'll be a little bit over bet here, but he ran okay in the Oaklawn Handicap. Never really fired in the Saudi Cup, but I thought he ran a decent third in the decent second in the Jim Dandy last year, and a decent second in the Belmont. If he can run those races today, I think he can win. It's not the world's toughest race. 9-5 will give him a shot also, along with the 6-horse Sir Winston, your Belmont winner of 2019. Again, he ran terrifically in the flat out a few weeks ago. Another horse here. Like I said, I'll use them in the multis, but to recap my selection for the 11th for Belmont's Grade 2 Suburban, let's take as the top selection the 4-horse Mr. Buff. We'll also give kudos to the 1-horse Taxidus and the 6-horse Sir Winston. We'll go 4168 in the superfecta, 416 in the multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.